It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Tarrant County Commissioner Roy C. Brooks. He has had a long public service career in the county government for over 20 years. He served 3 terms, that's 6 years on City Council for the City of Forest Hill. 2 of those 3 terms he served as the Mayor Pro Tem. Additionally, he has always been very active in the community as a volunteer, working with numerous nonprofit organizations. He is committed to the health and welfare of the people, all of the people. Commissioner Brooks is also actually a trustee of Texas Wesleyan University, and he, as Mr. Morris was running through his slides, you may have noticed a local commitment to the Streetscape Improvements Program on Rosedale, and we want to let you know that that was Commissioner Brooks that stepped up to the plate and said, I will do that as a part of this grant. So we're very excited about that. Without further ado, the Honorable Roy Brooks.
Thank you very much, Debbie, for that introduction. I'm going to have to change my bio on my website because I'm tired of listening to that one. I want to thank Congressman Burgess, as always, for his leadership in putting on this Economic Development Summit. You've heard me say probably each year that this summit has occurred, that Congressman Burgess and this community inherited each other through the miracle of redistricting. And it looks like we're going to be disinherited by that same process in the next 14 months or so. Congressman Burgess and I met soon after that redistricting occurred, and we agreed on things that we could agree about, and we agreed to disagree on things on which we were at polar ends philosophically. That's worked pretty well for this community. And it's a pretty rare thing. But this country needs leadership. This community needs leadership. Leadership that is willing and able to put aside philosophical differences, political party differences, differences in opinion about the President of the United States, and agree to go forward and help develop a community. Reaching across the aisle to join hands to make this community work. Dr. Burgess, Congressman, thank you for your willingness to be a partner with me, with the rest of the leadership of this community, and with the rank and file to help make improvements in this community. Now, you've heard a lot of talk this morning about various infrastructure projects. You've heard about Renaissance Square, Sierra Vista, the East Rosedale Street project, and all of those are much needed and much appreciated improvements for this community. But I would be remiss. In fact, I would not be being me if I stood up here and told you that infrastructure alone is going to lift this community. It will not by itself. Economic development is about more than infrastructure. Economic development is about having a healthy population, because a healthy population, an unhealthy population cannot work. Economic development is about jobs, because without jobs, the people have no money to spend. Economic development is about education, because without a well-trained workforce, we've got nothing to sell. Economic development is about people. It's about that little phrase in the preamble to the Constitution that talks about promoting the general welfare. That's a phrase that a lot of people would like to ignore these days. They want to only focus on their own welfare and on the welfare of their own families, or people who look like them, or people who think like them. But unless this community, unless this country moves forward in lockstep, promoting the general welfare of all of our citizens, then this American dream will not long endure. And so, I appreciate the infrastructure projects, but let's get together and make sure that we've got all of what it takes to develop this country, this community economically. I spent most of yesterday at 2 different obesity events. One in the morning for the so-called experts, and one in the evening for the grassroots, the neighborhood leaders. And what I said to both groups is that obesity is not the problem. Obesity is a symptom of the problem. Obesity is caused by not having access to fresh food by many communities across this city, across this county. Obesity is caused by people living in neighborhoods that they believe are unsafe for them to get out and enjoy the parks and the sidewalks and walk and do their exercise and other forms of recreation. When we begin to solve problems like those, then we can truly get to economic development. So I call upon all of you we need some new brains involved in this process. Or we need some old brains involved in a new way. We need to look at the problem holistically. We need to help Gage build some houses. We need to help the Fort Worth ISD and the Everman ISD and the Crowley ISD and the 13 other ISDs that are a part of Tarrant County educate children. We need to stop playing grown folks' games with the education of our children. Put the children first. Play the games in your spare time. We need to look at the health of this community. Dr. Burgess invited me 5 or 6 years ago to testify before the House Commerce and Energy Committee, which oddly regulates health care in America. The subject of my remarks was on reauthorizing the bill that creates federally qualified health centers. And one of the statistics that I used as a part of that presentation was that there are more federally qualified health centers in the metropolitan Boston area than in the entire state of Texas. At that time, there was only one in Fort Worth. Now we've got 1.5 because we've got a branch of the existing first one. One on the north side, one in southeast Fort Worth. Those clinics are an integral part of the health infrastructure of this community. They treat everybody, whether you can pay or not, whether you're documented or not. They treat everybody. And that's important because we don't need sick, contagious people in our population with no ability to be treated. Makes no sense. I've been making this argument for years. What part of contagious don't you understand? It's always countered by what part of illegal don't you understand? Well, I understand illegal, but contagious in my mind trumps illegal. Texas Wesleyan is an institution that is dear to my heart, and I'm wearing, Dr. Slaybaugh, I'm wearing my Wesleyan pin this morning. Not only because I'm proud of the university, but because I think it's pretty cool. I appreciate Wesleyan for the decision made 20-odd years ago to remain right here in this community and to grow where it was planted. I appreciate the Board of Trustees, the administration, and our new president, who we will inaugurate officially in January, February, whatever it is, for their willingness to reach out beyond the confines of this campus and to partner with the community. That will lift not only Wesleyan's boat, but the boats of all of its neighbors. I thank Wesleyan for allowing neighborhood kids to come on this campus and have a college-like experience so that they can get to understand that not only is college doable for them, but they belong here. Gives them something for which to shoot. We've got the beginnings of some strong collaborations that will help rebuild Southeast Fort Worth. The beginnings of some collaborations. We need to each commit to stay in those collaborations as long as it takes. This community has a lot going for it. In the real estate industry, they would tout location, location, location. It's the best located community in all of Fort Worth. But somehow over the years, we have seen our stewardship over this community wax and wane. Well, we're in a waxing period now. So now that everybody is in a mood to put their hands to the plow and push and make this a better community, let's take advantage of that energy. Let's take advantage of that willingness. Let's take advantage of the collaborative use of resources while the willingness is there. Let us not let this moment pass. Again, Congressman, thank you for the invitation to be here this morning. Thank you all for your interest in making this community a stronger, more vibrant, more economically sustainable place to live. But it's going to take work. And it's going to take the work of each and every one of us and many more who I don't see in this room. Thank you for listening to my preachifying.